the Wetland International's first conference is being held here. And you are taking the Diyasuru Park as a good example. Wetlands, certainly like elephants and others, are a sort of a disappearing either species or disappearing landmarks. How do we preserve them? That's the issue. Not only in urban area, but even in other areas, the wetlands are disappearing. Partly the need of development, partly the need for people to live. Nevertheless, development and population expansion has taken its toll on wetlands. So what you have undertaken is how to preserve it. And that's one objective which we all agree with. If you look at this, about 500 years ago, this whole area was covered by wetlands. Whether you took the Muthurajavela to the north, the swamps of Muthurajavela, or this whole area, which was completely wetlands, sometimes swamps, in which a fortress was erected to safeguard cinnamon trade and to drive away the rival armies of the north, and down even towards the south. You would see them. But gradually you have seen it being filled up, but we've still been able to preserve our wetlands, and the minister and the corporation has done a good job. We have to emphasize, and we certainly will give priority to saving our wetlands. So this Diyasuru Park is one of them. We are also now planning to have another tourist attraction of 1,000 acres of wetland in down south, in an area in Bentota called Deduwa. It's 1,000 acres next to Lunuganga, which also was the residence of late Geoffrey Bawa, the famous architect. So that will be really large. How do you preserve the wetlands? As you go along, you get some more wetlands in Akurala that has to be preserved. So many of the wetlands will be preserved. Some will also have tourism, eco-friendly tourism. Certainly that's one area. That's just one part of what we are doing for eco-tourism, wetlands. We are taking about another 1,000 acres next to Horton Plains to ensure that we have another eco-tourist area that comes in there. So Sri Lanka will identify and will start certainly safeguarding these areas such as what is needed here as wetlands. But what we feel is that there's a lot more in the world that we have to safeguard. So we are also promoting the concept of the tropical belt. It's in the tropical belt you find the wetlands, the savannas, wherever you can certainly, these are the crucial area if you want to combat climate change. These are the sinks that are in the world. This all mainly in the tropical belt. So why don't we save them all or do our best to preserve? You look at Amazon. The Amazon is vanishing. We should preserve these. In Africa, but what are we to do? Let's take all these things, whether it be wetland, whether it be forest, whether it be grassland, and let's see how many of them can have commercial value, not for businesses, but as a part of eco movement. Who are prepared to come spend in money, because I don't think you are going to get that much of money coming in from the developed world. It will most probably at the moment ending up either in Ukraine or in Gaza, but certainly it's not going to end up anywhere here. So we have to look after ourselves. So let's see how many commercial projects we can find in the wetlands. We are also looking at the role that the Indian Ocean can play as a sink. It's even greater. We are now promoting a concept. Let's see how we can certainly commercialize these areas, not for normal development, but certainly for the environment. How much can we do for green financing, for green economics to get credit? So this is what we have to now look at. The environment in our regions, in the tropical belt, is under threat, and we should not be looking at money to come from outside. That money is not available. So we have to resort to our own ways of raising money commercially to safeguard the environment and the tropical belt. The government of Sri Lanka is also now preparing legislation for a international climate change university. The first of its kind, which will be linked to many other climate change centers, where on the lines of the East-West Center, people would come in for short-term training or for postgraduate studies. It certainly will be, it will be the center of a climate change educational and research network. So these are the two major proposals that Sri Lanka will put forward, and we hope to pursue it in the coming years.